If you want to see me swatch some Pat McGrath palettes, then stick around. Hi there, it's Hélène and welcome back, or if it's your first time, welcome to HMM Makeup or Makeup. I did the little teaser at the beginning here talking about 3 palettes from Pat McGrath. There is La Vie en Rose, which is pretty awesome. I think that's what it's called. Mothership I Subversive. And then there is Mothership I Subliminal. And there is Mothership II, which is Sublime. And all 3 have a pretty different color story. And I have actually had these for quite a while. And the reason I bought the trio is Pat McGrath Mothership palettes are a lot cheaper when you buy them in sets of 3. And what I wanted way back then was this one, which it has an amazing, there's a shadow in there that is amazing and that I want to show you and swatch, but I'm going to leave that one to the end because that is supposed to be my Christmas present. So for me, I had a special palette for my birthday and a special palette for Christmas. So the Lila palette was for my birthday, and this pink palette is for Christmas. So I want to delay swatching it and playing with it as close to Christmas as possible, but with the understanding that I'm going to be using it before Christmas because Pat McGrath palettes are popular as a gift for Christmas because it's a big gift. And so I thought that it would be better for me, for your purposes, if you are considering a Pat McGrath palette or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever, that you would want to see it early enough before Christmas to be able to make Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate, to be able to have the time to consider it and decide what is right for you, if any at all. So I've got these 3 palettes, and I'm actually going to go from, it's going to be a crescendo. It's going to be the palette that has a color story that least speaks to me to most speaks to me, and I will be doing 3 videos on this. Each one will have a swatches video, a first impressions video, and any other video beyond that that I want to do for each one. So there should be a lot of Pat McGrath coming your way for sure. So which one is today? It is this one. This is the Pat McGrath Mothership I Subliminal. And the reason why it is my least favorite of the 3 is because of the fact that it has this kind of electric blue in it. And it has a lot of cool shadows though, and I have become partial to cooler shadows. So it's not as though I hate the palette, I don't. I just, she is in number 3. That's all it means. So here is the palette as usual. This is the type of packaging for Pat McGrath. And let me show you the palette. A lot of folks interested in Pat McGrath already know what it looks like, but let me just be official about it. And so the bluish feel for this shadow and a little bit of this shadow, kind of light purple, is something that I'm not super keen on. But when I look at this palette is a cooler leaning shadow person's dream. It's cooler leaning, but very functional in that it has a matte black, it has a nice brown, it has a sparkly kind of shimmery gold that is so usable in a makeup look. And then of course it has some of these special shades toward the end here that make Pat McGrath palettes so iconic if they are shadows that speak to you. So for example, the green in the Mothership I, to me it is liquid gold. I love it. I love the green. It's gorgeous. So there may very well be some shadows in those special shades toward the end here that really speak to you and make a big difference for you. But we are going to find out at least my first impressions of this palette by swatching it, and I can guarantee you I will be making a lookbook basically for this palette as well. And I have done a lookbook that I still intend to build on for the Mothership 5 that you can find on my channel as well in a bunch of different videos. So just search Mothership 5 and you'll find a number of videos. So I've talked enough and I want to start swatching this palette, and I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to swatch 3 at a time so that they are all good size swatches so you can really get a sense of the palette. And for 10 shadows it should fit very nicely on the arm, and so let's get right into it. So I'm going to swatch the first 3 right from top left to right. And Pat McGrath mattes are very, very smooth, and these are no exception. So this is my first go at swatching. Pardon my hand, I had an allergic reaction. These are my first 3. And yeah, the pigmentation is usually pretty darn good. So this is a beautiful kind of satiny metallic. And now we've got that deeper color. It's like a chocolate brown. Definitely have to re-swatch that. And then we have a lighter color. Kind of, it's a matte, it's definitely a matte. Not quite a taupe color. What would I call it? Like a fawn? Just look at the palette here. Yeah, a cooler leaning brown, so that's nice. I'll just re-swatch all 3 of those. I'm really liking the first one. I think it would look great as a brow bone highlight or inner to 1/3 of the lid. I think that would look really good. I'm talking about this one. It looks really nice. And second, that built up beautifully. Mattes usually do that. Okay, and that looks beautiful. I would definitely use this as my initial crease color. No matter what I do with the look, this would be a really, really nice color to work with. Just a little bit deeper than my eyelid color. Yeah, all 3 of those I really enjoy. Those are really nice. So let me just wipe these off and we'll go for the next 3. Okay, I want to keep the special shades for last, so I am going to be swatching these 3 down here next. So we've done these 3, and I'm going to go down here. And I am very excited for the black, going right into that matte black. And then this next one is kind of a shimmery violet. And then this gorgeous kind of taupey brown that has a satin finish. Oh yeah. Oh, this is going to be so nice. So here are the 3. I'm really excited about these. So let's see how deep the black is. Please do not disappoint. Oh yeah, look. I knew it was going to be good, but this is ridiculously good. That is awesome. Okay, and then we've got that beautiful violet. You know what? These 2 would make a look just like that. And then we have the next one that is a very sultry brown. It makes me think of a brown that I used recently in, trying to remember what it was, the Lancôme Holiday Blockbuster palette. I did a full smoky eye look with a color that was similar to that but just didn't have as much bling. This one has kind of a silver fleck in it. So if you took that silver fleck out, it would be very, very much like that Lancôme palette color. Beautiful, beautiful shadows. And I'm going to go a second time, even though I don't think the black needs it, frankly, but we want to be thorough. I'm really enjoying that brown. I have to make a look with that one. It's so gorgeous. All right, back in here. And the black just It is a midnight black, there's no question. And that built up beautifully, and I'm going in for the brown that does not even need it, not even close. And those are the first 6 swatches, and now we're going to be going into, look at that, we're going to be going into the special shades. Thank goodness they seem to wipe off easily. Now we're going to go into the special shades, and what I feel like doing is the yellow and the blue together I think would be a nice pairing, and this would also be a nice pairing. So I'm going to do 2 and 2. It might seem like overkill, but I never want to use the pinky for really important swatches, so I'm just going to use my index and middle finger on both of these. And so this pairing should be a match made in heaven. And let's see how they swatch. So we've got the kind of gold color. Oh my gosh. It's an iridescent gold. This is the kind of gold I want on my inner to 2/3 of the lid. It always looks good. It always looks polished. And this blue is nothing to sneeze at. I'm just not big on metallic blue, but somebody who loves blue is going to absolutely fall over themselves on this one, I'm sure. Look at the fingers. Imagine that on the eye. Right? That would look fantastic. All right, going back into the yellow. So it's like yellow with iridescent pearl. It's not exactly a yellow. There's iridescent pearl in there. That looks really nice. Okay, so back here, as if it needs it, but there we go anyway. And then that blue. Oh yeah. I'm like I said before, I'm not huge on these, but everything else so far, I can't flaw, give the palette bad marks on this. You know, just because I'm not big on blue doesn't mean somebody else isn't crazy about it. And this one is definitely passes muster. That's fine. I would use all of these. The blue is just the one that I'm not sure. Maybe on the lower lash line. I don't know. I'll try using it different ways and try to change my opinion. But again, these are the 2 colors. One last time. It's nice to see the fingers because you can kind of see how the color would look on the curvature of the eye, you know, the eyelid. And so I do like to show the fingers for that very reason. If you're wondering why I've done the swatch and I still show the fingers show the dimension that you would have on the eyelid for a look. Like for example, the one I'm wearing right now, as I shift the eye, the eyeshadow is behaving differently, and it's kind of nice to get a feel for what a shadow might look like on the eyelid. That's the whole point, right? Anyway, I'm off my pulpit, and let's keep swatching. Okay, now the 2 special shades that I'm really excited about are the last 2 at the end here. And this one would actually be a really good pairing with the blue, but I just want to swatch these on their own. I think that they will be favorites. I really do think. Just based on my knowledge of other similar shadows, I'm quite sure that I will love those 2. And the second special shade, that is the kind of blue that I'm attracted to. That's not just in your face blue, but you get a shift and you kind of look at the eye and kind of go, oh, what was on that eye? What's this eyeshadow? That's what I like. All right, so we've got the second last shadow here, and that, oh my goodness. Okay, so this could act as a standalone or as a topper. There is just this blue reflect that looks so good. And then this last one, yes, it is a blue, but it's a translucent base blue. So you can use this as a topper for a lot of different shadows. This would be a beautiful topper for this one. It would be a beautiful topper for this one, definitely on the black. It is definitely a shadow that I'm excited about, definitely. But we're going to go in a second time, and the fingers again, just take a look at the color, the underlying color, and that sparkly color, and you can see more just through the fingertips. So once again, that kind of purpley blue, and then the iridescent blue. And let's do the second swatch of these. They'll only build to be even more beautiful. Okay. Now I'm looking at the palette again with these 10 swatches done. Hopefully you can really see the color. I love how utilitarian these 4 are. These are absolute anchor colors. You always know you can go into the palette and do a neutral look that is going to be very flattering on the eye. And the black gives you full control on just how deep you want the look to be. Then on top of these, you get powerful single colors. I would say these 4 powerful single colors where you can create a look around any one of these colors. Finally, to amp up a look, maybe from day to night, you would have these that are more acting like toppers than shadows on their own. You could use the shadows on their own. There are no rules with eyeshadow as far as creating avant-garde looks. But I would argue that these would be great enhancers for the more neutral shadows down here, again, taking a look from day to night. I have a more favorable view of this palette now that I've swatched it than when I opened it up the first time. And that is actually pretty common for Pat McGrath palettes. When the special shades are swatched, they look fundamentally different and often better than what they look like in the pan, because the swatch, the use of the shadow, really makes it come to life. So I'm happy. I'm very happy. And I did go from the palette that I thought I would like the least to the palette that I think am going to like the most in the trio that I'm swatching. So we will call it done for this Mothership I Subliminal. And I am going to go into the next best palette, in my opinion, of the 3, which is going to be this one, in the next video. So watch out for that. And my only hope is that it is as good as the one that I just swatched, because I think this went really well. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you have a request for looks, please let me know what it is you would like me to do with the palette, and we'll go from there. I am going to do first impressions, second looks, third looks with each of these palettes, so you might as well weigh in and let me know what your wish list is. With that, I will say thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it every single time. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. But for now, as always, take care.